What's going on, beautiful people of YouTube? Thanks for stopping by. Um, Man, what a week. What a roller coaster of a week I've had. I've had some really ups in my sourcing this week and the end of last week. I was able to find some pretty good products I was excited about and get those listed and get them going. They are kind of like, I guess, what they call long tailed type products that you're going to require the right buyer. But I was excited about them. Initial sourcing cost pretty low, but for what I can get for them, not a bad price. But man, my sales week this week have been really low, and um, a lot of people have given me suggestions, not necessarily about the slow sales week, but just in general about the products that I pick up. And while I've always known that, like what they're saying is true and 100%, I just wasn't really implementing those things. And so I want to make some changes to my store, and I'm wanting to get y'all's opinion on that and whether you think the direction I'm thinking about is right or you got some other suggestions. I love the advice I've been getting. 99% of it has all been good. And so I want to make some changes, and I want to tell you guys a little bit about what those changes are going to be. Now let me go over what I found this weekend. I went garage sailing. I'm glad garage sale season is starting up again. So I snuck out. There was like a little 10 house community sale here in town. I stopped by there. There was some pretty good stuff there. Got a little late start, but still able to find some good things. Let me show you what those were. First, I got this stir fry open. It's a blade putter cover here. It's by a company called EP Head Covers. I don't know if you can see that. Um, it's in great condition. This company was bought by another company called Swag, I guess is what I read. Anyways, I can't find this guy anywhere on the internet. I mean, I looked in the Wayback Machine, all kinds of stuff. So it's very limited edition. It's kind of cool. These very limited edition ones can go for. I've seen ones being sold for like $300. I think I put mine at like 160, something like that, and I can always go down, but I don't want to just give it away. I'm willing to kind of hold on to it. I think I paid $10 for this. Got a new sealed Judy Bloom. This is nothing really all that exciting, but it is new, sealed. I think I got this out there for, I think 28, 29, Wish free shipping. So I paid $4 for that. This is like an old vintage. You cut it out, Smurf. You cut it out and you make pillows out of it. It's in new condition, hasn't been cut. It's just raw. I think I paid $1 or $2 for that. I'm thinking 20, something like that for that. I got this toy here, paid $2 for it. It's brand new, sealed toy. Like I said, $2. $20 maybe. This is open box. It's like a turtle LED fountain thing. It makes the sounds of fountains and stuff. It has been opened, but it's never been pulled out and never assembled. So new old stock. I think I paid $4 for that. I paid $2 for this Volvo toy. Another new sealed. I'm hoping $20 for that. Paid $1 for that. $2 maybe. It's a friendship thing. This might have been kind of a bad thing, but it's new, sealed. Maybe around Christmas time it might sell. Who knows? And then last of this little lot, I got this guy, this Lilo Stitch guy. Stitch Crashes Disney toy. It's brand new. It's in great shape. I want to say I paid $10 for him. That's kind of a reach. It might have been, but I think I got him listed for 34, and you'll see them where they go between $30 to $50. So hopefully I can get somewhere in there for that guy. But again, I got 27 into all of this. I think they asked 27 and I gave them 25, something like that. But it's in that range, and hopefully a couple of them, even if that head cover should do well, and the rest of them, the head cover and this Lilo guy should be do well, and the other ones, whatever I make off them will be all gravy at this point. So now let me go show you the numbers. Let's dig into these numbers here. First off, I only had 9 sales this week. 9. That sucks. Anyways, but what can you do? You got to keep going. You got to keep going. Hopefully make some changes, which is what this video is about. That will help you change that for the positive. But anyways, I did have 9 sales. I want to show you those real quick. So I'm kind of changing. If you've seen any of the other videos, I used to just have use eBay to try to figure out what my net was and what my sales were. And I still use that to some degree, but one of the advantages of having Nifty is that it does some of that back end inventory stuff for you. And I know there's other products out there that do the same thing. I'm not endorsing or not endorsing Nifty. I am just giving this a shot. I'm just letting you know that that's why this screen is different, because there's other products, and I don't know who's better, and that's not the point. I just wanted to let you know that if you notice a difference in the screen, it's because I am using that part of their product, and it's helpful because as long as you input your cost of goods and what you actually paid for shipping, it will give you your net, and you won't have to do all that mental gymnastics to try to figure out what your net is. It's pretty cut and dry. So with that being said, let me start with the first product I sold. It was a Wonder Workshop smartphone mount. This is that mount that goes for that robot. I still have all of those, but this was the first that sold out of that lot of robot stuff that I got from the previous week. After everything was said and done, I made $8.56 off of that guy or that product. Next, this is the real stinker of the day or the week. I sold the Hot Wheels carry case with the 30 cars in it. Now, granted, I only paid 50 cents for it, but because the shipping was so abysmal on that product that I ended up only making $1.19 on it. And that's, again, kind of part of the subject of this video. I'm going to be making some changes to hopefully avoid this kind of sale from happening going forward, but we'll talk more on that later. Next, I have the FootJoy golf shoe bag. That one I paid $5 for. After everything was said and done, I made $17.89. Not too bad. One of the better ones this week was this Revere Ware Proline 12-inch skillet with the lid. I paid $5 for that guy, and I profited $39.16. So that's not too bad. Next is this, there's a Georgia Southern Eagles hat. It had a kind of a unique slogan on the back that for Georgia Southern alumni and students they like. It was used in fair condition, but because of that logo, I was able to sell it for a little bit more than I typically would for a hat. Anyways, I had cost of $2.50 in it. After everything was said and done, I made $20.70 off that hat. Another college years Georgia Bulldogs. It's a leather belt. It has little Georgia Bulldog metal emblems all along it. It's almost like a baseball belt, something along those lines or whatever. Anyways, it wasn't in as great a condition as I thought it was when I picked it up, so I wasn't able to sell it for as much as a lot of the other ones go for, but I was able to make $6.96 off of that guy. I sold a Fisher-Price Imaginext rescue helicopter. It was kind of beat up too. It was missing some pieces. Paid 50 cents for that after everything was said and done. $3.24 on him. Again, something I need to think about going forward is picking up items like this. I did sell, the other thing I sold 2 basically things so far off a cross listing. I sold the Georgia Southern hat, and then I sold this Depop duffel bag. And it's one of those ones from the 90s that you had to smoke, 1,200 cartons or whatever, packs of cigarettes and then save them, or just run around in the trash picking up people's packs of cigarettes and saving them up. And, if you got 20 pounds of them, you could get a backpack or a duffel bag like this. But anyways, they seem to have come back in popularity. They have cameras. They have all kinds of different things that they sold. But anyways, I was able to sell this. I got this actually on the beach, Peaches to the Beaches. Me and my wife went and just kind of checked it out. Didn't really go with any intentions of really sourcing there. We just wanted to see what it was all about so that we could next year possibly have a game plan so that we can attack it in a more orderly fashion. But anyways, I picked that up there. After everything was said and done, I made $27.97. Next is this Fisher Price Beats and Dance. Now this is one of those ones that I sold it. I printed out the shipping label, and then immediately within 5-10 minutes, the person who bought it says they wanted to cancel. And I'd never had that happen before, so I had to do a lot of finagling around to try to figure out exactly, because you would try to cancel and it'd say you can't. You've already told them you can't cancel, and I guess it had something to do with the shipping label. So once I canceled the shipping label and then completely refunded the buyer, then it was able to finally cancel. But anyways, that was a big pain in the butt, and I lost 50 cents on it, so that's never good, especially when you're having a bad week like this. But the last thing I sold was another Georgia Southern Eagles hat. This is just your typical baseball type hat, and again, I probably paid $2.50 for that. After everything was said and done, I made $13.48. So not great week, not horrible, but not great. And so my weekly numbers are, after my net profit this week was $163.15. And so far this month, I have made $567.45. So I'm okay with that. I mean, again, the numbers are growing, and it's just, I want to see bigger jumps than that, and I'm kind of pushing myself. It's not that I'm upset with these numbers. It's just that I want to do better. I think you should always be wanting to do better, and that's what I'm trying to do, and that's what this video is about. But before we get any more into that part, let me put these numbers up on my little board back here. It kind of keeps me focused when I see that every day. So I'm going to go ahead and do that right now. All right, here's me at the board. I listed 54 items this week, which is the highest I think I've done since I created this store. I kind of cheated a little bit because one of the products I bought, I parted it out, but to me, it made more sense to do that with the going rate of the whole thing and the weight of it. So I was able to get probably 10 listings out of one. So that's why that number is a little high, but I am happy that I was able to source that much. I had $284.85 in sales. I netted $163.15. My sourcing cost was pretty high for me this week at $114.45. I sold 9 items. My average sale was around $31.12. And I'm using this number out of eBay, not Nifty, because I haven't figured out how to do that yet. And then my month to date, or my month net to date net so far is $567.45. My sold is 33 items, and my sourcing cost total at this point is $255.50. So I'm really hitting my wall as far as my $300 source cap there. I'm looking good here. I'm looking good here. I'm doing good here and here. So basically my monthly goals are pretty much met. as long as I stay under this sourcing cap. But I'm really hoping for a good week coming up, and I'm hoping the changes I make going forward will help with these numbers here. So let's talk about that. All right, so you can see from there that, man, I've had a real slow sales week, and that's never good. Not when you're, trying to make some money on the internet. So I want to implement a couple of things really based off a lot of the suggestions that I've gotten from you guys. And one of those is I need to really focus on getting better products. One of my first suggestions that somebody gave me was, don't worry about quantity, worry about quality. And I knew that was good. I knew that was good advice. But at the time when I was first doing the store, what I wanted to focus on, well, I mean, I wanted to build the store. I wanted to build some inventory. I wanted the store to feel legitimate. And one of the ways of making the store legitimate was that I wanted to build my feedback. And one of the ways I thought, and I don't know if this is right, wrong, I don't know, was that I thought that I needed to get some sales volume. Because I know that the new feedback system on eBay works where even if the customer doesn't leave you a feedback, if after so much time or whatever, they will just automatically give you a feedback. And so I figured that if I could get a high volume of sales, then that would help build that feedback score up. So a matter of fact, when I first started the store, I would sell like 10 stickers, and I actually lost money on those. It was like 10 stickers in standard envelope, eBay standard envelope, and it was like 99 cents. And after everything was said and done, I think I was losing like 18 cents every time I sold one of those. But in my mind, I thought that if I could just build that up a little, like the sales track, then I would automatically get a feedback for those. And then down the road, because I don't know if any of you guys are this way, but like when I see a product, whether it's on Amazon, whether it's on eBay or something like that, and there's no feedback, or ratings or anything like that, especially like on Amazon and eBay, I feel like, can I trust this product? Because so much on Amazon is just fake reviews. And then on eBay, it's one thing if you're buying something for $15 or $20. But if you're going to go out there and you're going to spend $200 on a product, you're probably not going to buy from somebody who's got one feedback, And so I knew I didn't have anything like that, any products of that value at that point. But I also knew that to get to that level, if everything I had was high dollar, I was probably going to have struggle to even get the feedback up. So I did kind of look the other way, kind of hold my nose, I guess you could say, when I would buy like cheap products that I knew that I could only make a couple of bucks on. And going back to a previous video, I'll be honest with you, I don't mind making a couple of bucks off of products. But this week kind of got me thinking about another aspect. I mean, you guys are just watching me evolve. My feelings are changing about certain things here and there. I'm trying to learn. I'm trying to like come up with better strategies about different things. Well, this week I had a pretty good sourcing week, and I spent this month, matter of fact, up until this point, I hadn't spent the first month. I spent my $400 that I initially was going to put into the store. The second month, February, I didn't get anywhere close to reinvesting that money. Matter of fact, I think I only got into the mid 200s, or I don't even think I made it to $200. Well, this month, I've gotten to like 255. And so actually I got one more week to go in March, and I'm hitting a wall as far as my sourcing is concerned. Now, what I've sourced this month has been better, at least in my opinion, and at least for this store, this little store of mine going on here. It's been better. I guess it's not good, but better than what I have been, sourcing and stuff like that. And, I've had a couple of bangers in the past, but these are more the kind of things that I think long-term are going to make me some good money on. And I've felt a little more excited about these purchases and not as many of the little like knick-knack toysy kind of things here and there. Although I'm not going to turn those away, but I have a new, here's what I'm getting at. My new idea going forward is what I'm going to try to do is, if the profits are on the product are going to end up being like, the net after everything is said and done is going to be like, say, under $50, then whatever I pick it up for needs to at least be 5 times the amount sourced. So you buy something for $4, it needs to at least make you 20. And then I want to have a cap on that. So say the $2 to say $10. Nothing that I list do I think I'm going to list for less than $10. No more of the little, $6, $7 things here. I know those work for a lot of people when they have a lot of those things. And again, I still have things in my store, as you guys have seen, that are in that price range. And I don't know exactly what I'm going to do with those, if I'm going to take them down or if I'll just leave them and hope they sell. I'm not sure about that part yet. And maybe you guys can give me some suggestions on that. And on that thought, real quick, if you are watching at this point, please subscribe and give me comment and like, or whatever you need to do to, see how this all goes, and if the decisions I make actually turn out to be okay. But either ways, I appreciate all the subscribers to this point, and any of them ahead of, going forward. I appreciate you all. But back to what I was saying, yeah, give me your suggestions. So what I'm thinking is, so it's got to be 5 times my money if the sale price is under 50. Now if it's over 50, then I might like consider maybe like a 3x on my money. So in other words, if I buy something for $20, I might be okay with, sorry, the wind chimes are going crazy. I might be okay with like $60, because of just the amount, in other words, 20, a $20 flip, even if it's 20, you paid 20 and you sold it for 40, you still made, well, after everything, you made $15, let's just say. But I want to consider that. And that's something I'm kind of working out in my head right now. But, what do you guys think about that? I'm going to take the suggestions of most of the people and try to focus more on quality products. And I think one of the ways to do that is to try to set up some kind of mental way that I can determine, is this a quality item, like a quality flip? Not just the sell-through rate, not just, how many are out there and all that kind of stuff, but just also how much am I investing in the product and what is the return going to be? Instead of just trying to fill up a store just so you can tell yourself that, hey, I've got 300 items in my store. No, you've got 300 good quality items. Because right now, I think I'm up to like 180 something items in my store, but a lot of them are, either never going to sell, or if they do sell, I'm going to make $1, like that Hot Wheels carry case that y'all saw. So, I want to make these changes. I hope this week, when you see my sourcing runs and my my wrap ups, that you'll see that I've implemented these things and I'm able to find those kind of things and skip. I mean, I have to really, and honestly, this week coming up, just because I'm out of money in a sense. I got $45 to invest in the store, so I have to be very deliberate and selective about what I'm going to buy. And so one of the ways I'm thinking to do that is by implementing what we just went over. So give me your thoughts, give me your suggestions. I love them, and I appreciate all you for stopping by, and we'll see you next week.